Hello and welcome to the Closing Beat, everybody. Happy Thursday to you. How's it going out there? All is good. Hope all is well with you. We are financial advisors here at Jazz Wealth, and clearly not the most popular person on YouTube at the moment because, you know, there's going to be that guy coming over. So you have to see what's going on there. We have our class coming up tonight. Our Wine and Wealth class, we're going to be talking about your June financial focus, and it will pertain to financial independence, like talking about how to make sure we're on track for that if that is your goal. So we'll be going over that tonight. You're here to talk about the stock markets, though, and as the 66th best advisor in the United States, thanks to USA Today, you can look it up. I'm not making it up. We are happy to help teach as we go. Hey, the ECB this morning came out and cut rates. They were the first major central bank to start cutting rates. I read through it a little bit, but it was largely predicted. Right? They have the same thing over there where we can just look up the odds of the rate cut or not. So sort of a favorable start to the day. It didn't really move markets, surprisingly. It was kind of a flat day throughout the day and then actually finishing flat. If you look at the Dow, that was your best performing index, actually. Just up a little bit there. But really the S&P, there we go. After hitting new highs, what is it? Nothing to do today. Perfectly flat, or is about as perfectly flat as you can get. If you go looking through the NASDAQ there, you're going to see something similar. A little bit of a tug of war in those big tech names there. And the Russell 2000 was, in fact, the weakest there. If we look around, you find out that oil had a decent day. It's trying to recover. It's the most oversold area. We'll cover a little bit more of that in just a second. Gold, pretty quiet considering what's been happening, right? A little bit of a burst there, but not too much to report there to you. And volatility, of course, there is no fear. No one seems to care about, volatility at the moment. So we're going to do something different here today. We're going to pop on over to the dojo. If you're one of our clients or research members, you have access to this as well. If you'd like to play along, that's all good there. And we're going to do something different. We're going to say, hey, over the last 1 month, this is what I usually refer to during the day, right? So when we do the show and I'm like talking about sectors and stuff, we've got our 1 month performance going on in here. What I want to do is focus on some of the weaker things, those towards the bottom of the list there, if we can do that. The first place I'm going to go to is energy, because energy is, well, let's take a look here. I don't want to switch screens on you so fast, so let's just bounce around here a little bit. Energy ranks towards the bottom over the last 1 month. Not talking year to date, you get what I'm saying here. We have energy at, it is in last place, down 2.4%. And that's largely because it's following along the price of oil. So if you look at the price of oil, okay, yeah, wait, we fall 10% off of highs there. We're in a controlled and now oversold downtrend. And so a little dead cat bounce, I don't know that that's what it is. You get what I'm saying. Just a little bit of a bounce there after yesterday's oil inventory numbers. And you go, maybe I like the idea of something that's trading at a discount. Maybe. Well, if you go inside of it, let's go to, let's zoom this guy out here. We're going to look over a 1 month time period. And on the top here, what we can see is the outperformers and underperformers. What I like to do is come sort by contribution. So those that had the biggest weight on the energy sector. Because as you can see over here, energy is basically just participating with oil. Well, ConocoPhillips has the biggest drag. In other words, 78 points of the 1 month pullback here has come from ConocoPhillips. Well, if I click on it, obviously you can see it's one of the more oversold stocks. If you like that sort of thing, this is probably on your watch list. But then you have a handful of others to choose from. Right? These are all the bigger bubbles that you see there that are now bold. Those are the stocks that are in that same industry, you'd have to say there, right? So your explorers, right? This is where they fall into the you got the S&P, the energy sector, and then the industry that they fall in, because you have your midstream developers and you have the explorers and everything. So that's where they fall. So that tells you, hey, well, all of that little industry is kind of weak. If you like ConocoPhillips, you look at the rest of those and start piecing together what you may want to add or start in your portfolio or whatever. So if we look through that, you can really quickly see relative strength and weakness. If you're a momentum person, let's go over here. Let's see who's been the biggest contributor. It's going to be a whole different animal. See that industry up here at the top? They're all together. These are your midstream pipelines, right? So these guys doing well, Williams Brand, Kinder Morgan, etc. And then, of course, we can see how they're doing. So if you're looking inside the energy space, why am I even talking about this today? Well, a lot of people like to look for discounts. And instead of spending all day just clicking through everything, you can real quickly go weakest sector in the S&P, at least over the last month. All right, well, what stocks have pulled back? Is there any story that you like in there, maybe a financial story, fundamental story, whatever it is that you're looking at? Now you've got a real quick place to take a look there. Well, if we go back, so we've got energy at the bottom, utilities at the bottom. I'm going to go to industrials next and take a look in there because this is a different story. If I zoom out over the last 1 month, I'm just putting 1 year on the chart there, but if we look out over the last 1 month, take a look. It's sort of a tug of war, right? It's a little bit more broad in terms of what pullbacks we've had, but we have more choices on the upside, more choices on the downside. So our biggest contributors to the downside here is General Electric and John Deere, all in that, not these guys, but sort of in that same industry there. So not as interesting. So compare and contrast there between energy and the industrials, and most people don't get too excited about industrials anyways, but you go, oh, it's more obvious over in energy that I could maybe be doing something there. If you have, I don't know, 1% of your portfolio in something, Diamondback Energy or something, and maybe that's where you say, I'm going to go 1.5, I'm going to go 2%. I'm going to add on this pullback here. That's kind of what I like to do. Anyways, so then if we go over to consumer discretionary, that is the third worst performing sector over the last 1 month. Not quite in last place, but third to last. And this is a whole different story. So when you look at consumer discretionary and we sort by contribution, hey, it's just a couple names here that are really dragging down or holding this sector back. And naturally, you have things like Tesla, which Tesla just hasn't gotten anything really done, over the last couple days here. Just what's happening, right? Amazon, the same thing. It's down 2% over the last 1 month here. Today, a bit of a different story. And so that's been one of the drags. Looking for those bigger names that you might be interested in pullbacks on. Home Depot, same thing, although not really getting going. And then Lowe's is going to be in the same camp, as you can see there, obviously in the same industry there. On the upside there, it's kind of interesting because I'm going to just skip that one for a second and go to Starbucks. Starbucks with the oversold earnings report, right? Remember when they said they had their earnings come out, and all in all, it wasn't horrible. Sales were down a little bit, especially here in the United States. But they go, oh, this earnings doesn't reflect the power of our brand. Remember they said that? Instead of saying, like, we realize maybe costs have gotten a little out of control, or pricing has got a little out of control. Maybe we do some promotional stuff. We're going to need to really kind of, keep our customers there and keep them excited. No, totally arrogant about it. They went a different route. So anyways, that one recovering from the pullback there. And then TJ Maxx would be your most overbought stock out of that so far. All right. So just a different way to go about it there. Oh, I want to point this out too. Also in energy, I don't have it on my chart here, but this is right about where the 200-day moving average is. And it's very popular. I'm not saying I believe in it or whatever. I'm just saying everybody looks at it. They all recognize it as an area. So now we have a double-digit pullback down to an area that people tend to get excited about, just like I said about the markets the other day on the 50-day moving average. If you're inclined to look at that sort of thing, or you're bullish, then that's a zone where you would expect people to get a little bit excited about maybe buying some stuff. Hey, do we have a leaderboard going on here?
Of course, yeah. We got your Thursday leaderboard. We have Jenka, Elena, Victor, Eric, and Pedro as your top 5 before Friday. JazzWealth.com/guesstheDow for your chance to win $100.
Pretty close there too, by the way.
Very close.
That third place, sort of through 5th place there. All right, I see what y'all are doing. They're getting good at these guesses.
Yeah, a little dip, and it's going to get competitive. Yeah, there's a lot of people playing too.
I like it. A lot more people playing. All right. Well, if you want to play, you know where to go now, and it is totally free to play. No strings attached, no nothing there. Of course, you know how we do things around here. We don't have a marketing plan for you if you play the game. Let's go over to some of the stocks in the news here today, and then I'll take your questions, and then I got to get ready for our class tonight. Gonna be a good one. All right. Big Lots. I don't know what they're doing. Big Lots, earnings down, sales down overall there. Total sales down just about 10%. I don't mean to pick on these guys, but there's not really like a lot going on. Hey, on the flip side, Costco's killing it over there. Sales growth of 6.5% just in May, and online beat in store. So online e-commerce sales up 15 and change percent. So obviously Costco well deserving of a new high. Notice a theme here. We're sticking with retailers. So Five Below, not good here for them. Sales down overall, and they were the ones that kept pushing inflation. They were saying that inflation is hitting customers out there. It's making it hard for them to come in and buy. Not a good thing. You don't want to hear that when the company is 5 or below, right? So a little bit of weakness there that does not translate to what you saw a little bit in Dollar Tree the other day, of course. And so, well, you know, that's going to be one of your weaker stocks of the day. Notice a theme here, sticking with Lululemon. Better than expected earnings there. All in all, not too bad. The excitement for them, about 3% of their market cap. They're doing a $1 billion share buyback. They like buying cheap stock, apparently. That's what's going on there. NEO, I didn't catch a lot of information on this one. I know it had a rough day. But NEO, a little bit weaker on total sales, and that might have been the gist of what happened from their earnings report. Robinhood is buying somebody, some Bitcoin exchange or something. I don't really follow that. And ChargePoint. I don't know if you like this sort of thing, but ChargePoint revenue's down about 18% year over year for the current quarter. And they actually, you know, when they say guidance and they're like, oh, hey, we are going to give you a heads up going forward that we expect our total sales to be down between 4 and 12%. Not good for them overall. And if you look at their revenues, I don't know if like you guys want to like focus on these things, but if you look at their revenues, if I were to plot them out for you, they peaked in January of 2023. And since then, right? And the bad part is they peaked at $150 million. So we don't have a lot of room to spare there. I get it that that's a lot of money, but you know what I'm saying. It's a public company. This isn't our bank account. So, you know, a little bit of roughness for them. Didn't seem to really bother the stock a whole lot there. So all is good. All right, what do we got here? Let's take your questions if you have any questions, and then we'll be on our way. Is Diamondback pulling back? What is the average price? What do you mean average price? That's got me a little, I mean, it's clearly pulling back, but the average price thing's got me there. I'm not too sure about what the question is. Are you riding the GME train, man? Oh man, it's up again. The guy's going to do a podcast or whatever. No, I'm not interested. I like volatility. I don't like that. So that's beyond the risk tolerance that we're willing to take here. Tonight's class is going to be about the Financial Independence Review. Assuming that those of you who are on that track, want to be on that track, what should we be reviewing and how should we be checking in on that progress? Not a retirement discussion tonight. We're going to be talking about those of you that want to be financially independent. How can we go about it? What should we be doing? What do we need to have in place? Right? And how do we review the plan? DocuSign's earning made me wonder if the correlation between their business and any economic data. Zoom also, a little bit, right? Like say mortgage applications are high, then the people use DocuSign more or something like that. Now, it's more about the client acquisition, right? So if the client already has that as their preferred electronic signer there, then we don't really notice much change. They may track some of that where they go, oh, we notice that there's a lot more of whatever going through. I'm not sure what level they track there. But generally, I think that's probably a loose correlation. Yeah. Tom says, hey, man, what happened to Vertiv? I would say Vertu. And what was it there? What do we got going on? What is this guy? I don't know. I don't know exactly. Wish I had better news for you. I tell you, days like that, can I zoom in? When you see the #1 most bearish candlestick, and if you're not familiar, you can watch the candlesticks class, but there's only 13 variations of these candlesticks. They each tell a different story. Well, 3 of them tell no story at all, but there are 5 red ones and 5 green ones. This is the worst red one that you can have statistically, right? So you don't like to see this big reversal, meaning where the open is very high relative to the close and the low for that matter. Not the best of signs there. So I don't know what happened today, but I would expect some of that to continue. You know? I love it. Hey, that's it. Yeah, building a watch list. That's essentially where you're at with the market right now, is kind of in shopping mode. Maybe not necessarily pulling triggers yet, but starting to notice these themes like we talked about with energy and maybe the difference between that and the pullback in industrials. So it's really kind of a review phase, which is fun for me. I like that. Yeah. Something happened to Apple here at the end of the day. A little last minute something or other. Could have been a bad tick. Oh, you mean the sell-off, like as that kind of happened in the last 5 minutes or so. A little bit of sell on the close and a lot of volume too, so that's probably what it was. A little adjustment before the end of the day. Nothing news related or anything. Yep. Think Buffett's going to buy more Siri at these. I don't know what Warren Buffett's going to do. Hey. Need something? Oh, okay. Yeah, there you go. No, I don't know what he's going to do. Couldn't tell you. I can tell you that our class tonight, Wine and Wealth, will be a fun one. And we've actually got some wine. It's been a while since we've had wine here. So come grab a drink with me. Come hang out tonight. Let's just talk some money, you know, give you some tips and advice, some good stuff, some basic stuff, some geeky stuff. We'll do all of that later. For the rest of you, enjoy your evening, and thanks for watching. When you wish upon a star, makes no difference who you are.